I've never had a seizure, never passed out, never even fainted. But back in April, something happened to me that I still can't explain. I lost 6 hours of my life, and no one seems to care. Not even me. At first. It was a Sunday morning. I'd been up since 7:30, made coffee, watered the plant I always forget about, and was texting my buddy Mark about grabbing lunch. I glanced at the clock on the stove, 9:12 a.m. The next thing I remember, I'm sitting on the edge of my bed. Same pajamas, same mug in my hand. Only now, the coffee's cold, the room is dim. I check my phone. It's 3:44 p.m. I didn't feel tired or dizzy, no headache, just confused, like I blinked and skipped ahead. At first, I thought maybe I fell asleep and forgot, but it didn't feel like that. There was no grogginess, no time to process, just gone, like I'd fast-forwarded through 6 hours of my own life. I called Mark, and that's when things got weirder. He said we did talk earlier, said I told him I was going to lay low today, said I sounded fine, even laughed about something on the news. I checked the messages. Sure enough, I texted him back around 11 a.m. There was even a voice memo. In it, it said, "It's all right now. The door's shut. I won't open it again." The thing is, I live in a one-bedroom apartment. There's only one door to shut, and I hadn't touched it all morning. Now I'm thinking maybe I blacked out, or had a microstroke or something. So I made a doctor's appointment. They ran tests, a neurological scan, some blood work, even a sleep study. All clear. No signs of trauma, and no memory issues. The doctor said stress can do strange things to the brain, but I've been stressed before, and I've never skipped 6 hours of consciousness like a corrupted video file. About a week later, it happened again. I was at the grocery store, halfway through my list. I remember grabbing a can of soup. Next thing I know, I'm standing in the parking lot, cart full, receipt in hand. Total time missing? About 45 minutes. Again, no sleepiness, no gaps, no confusion, just a jump cut. I started keeping a notebook after that, writing down times, what I was doing, how I felt, trying to see if there was a pattern. And then yesterday I woke up to a sticky note on my mirror. In my handwriting, a note I don't remember writing. It said, "Don't open the hallway door, ever again." I don't have a hallway door, but when I moved my dresser to clean behind it, I found a gap in the drywall, about the size of a panel, fresh screws holding it in place. I didn't put them there. I haven't touched it. I don't plan to. But this morning, my phone vibrated with a new voice memo. No caller ID, just a gray file. It played my voice again. This time I said, "You opened it again. This time remember to forget," and then it cut off. This happened last summer when I was driving from Vermont to Colorado. I'd been on the road for about 9 hours and decided to avoid the interstate. I don't like the traffic, and honestly, I thought the back roads would make the drive more interesting. They did. Somewhere near the Pennsylvania border, I realized I was running low on gas, like just barely enough to coast into a station low. My GPS lost signal about 20 minutes earlier, so I just kept driving until I saw something. Eventually I found a small town, or maybe just a crossroads. No name on a sign, just one blinking yellow light and a faded gas sign on a bent metal pole. The place looked abandoned, but one of the pumps still had the little LED screen lit up, so I figured why not, I'll try it. There were no other cars, no one inside the little building. The windows were dark, but the door was cracked open. I started filling my tank, but something was off. The pump's digital clock flashed 4:17 p.m., but my phone said 3:06. I checked my car, same thing, 3:06. Thought maybe the pump's time was just wrong, but then it changed. 4:17, 7:03, 11:49, back to 4:17. It wasn't just counting, it was cycling, like skipping through random times. Not in order, no date, just time, always ending on 4:17. Then I noticed something even stranger. The shadows around me were moving. I don't mean the sun was shifting, I mean the directions were wrong. The light changed every few seconds. One moment, it looked like noon, the next, like sunset. In my reflection, in the gas station window, I could see myself, but the reflection blinked before I did. I stared at it for a full 10 seconds. It didn't move the way I did, like a delay, or worse, like it was doing something else entirely. At that point, I stopped pumping and got in the car. The tank had somehow filled up anyway, though I never finished. As I pulled out, I glanced back in the mirror. The gas station was gone. I'm not exaggerating. No sign, no pumps, no building. Just trees and grass, like it was never there. I pulled over a few miles down the road to get my bearings and check my phone. That's when I noticed the date. It was now Monday. I had left on Saturday. 2 full days were gone. I called a friend just to talk it out, asked what day it was, and he casually confirmed Monday. He asked if I was okay because I sounded off. I went through my phone's camera roll. There was a photo, one I didn't remember taking. A blurry shot of the gas station window. In the reflection, I was standing next to myself. No joke. 2 versions of me. One facing the camera, one looking away. Weeks later, I couldn't let it go. I tried to find the place again using satellite maps and GPS history. I even found a guy in a forum who claimed he also saw a station vanish somewhere near Eddersville in the 90s, but Eddersville isn't listed on any current maps. I still have the gas receipt. It's crumpled and faded, but the timestamp reads 4:17 p.m., August 12th, 1996. That's nearly 3 decades ago. I checked. My card was never charged. The number on the receipt isn't a real phone number. I haven't driven that route again, but sometimes I check my phone around 4:17 p.m. just to see if anything happens. A couple times, I swear I've caught my reflection blinking just a second too early. This happened last October. I walk my dog every night, same route, same time. It helps me clear my mind. We live near this huge public park in upstate New York. It's wooded and quiet. There's a paved trail that loops around a pond, and we usually go just after 9 p.m. That night was normal. Cool air, clear sky, nobody else out. I had my headphones in, walking the loop, when I noticed something strange ahead near one of the old picnic shelters. Someone was standing still in the shadows. Middle-aged man, maybe late 40s or early 50s. Windbreaker, jeans, and one of those old red Braves baseball caps. He wasn't moving, just kind of staring off toward the woods. I slowed down and took my earbuds out. "Hey, you good?" I called out. He turned like he hadn't noticed me before. He looked confused, said, "Do you know where the payphone is?" I thought maybe he was messing with me, but he was dead serious. I told him there hadn't been payphones here in years. He looked around like he didn't believe me. Then he said something I'll never forget. "But I used it this morning. I left my Walkman on the bench right over there." Walkman. Not phone, not earbuds. Walkman. I asked him what year he thought it was. He kind of laughed nervously and said, 1983? At first I thought he was maybe having an episode or just lost. I asked him where he lived. He gave me an address that didn't exist anymore. Those houses were torn down in the early 2000s and replaced by condos. I asked if he had anyone I could call. He gave me a name, Lisa Granger. Said she was his wife and would be worried by now. I looked her up on my phone. There was a Lisa Granger with that name, age range, same town, but she died in 2009. I showed him the obituary. He just stared at the screen, breathing through his nose like he was trying not to panic. Then he looked at me and said, "I only walked into the woods for a few minutes, I swear. It was still morning when I went in." He asked me what the date was. I told him. He looked down at his hands and started quietly saying the date over and over like he didn't believe it. I didn't know what to do. I offered to call someone, maybe the police, but he shook his head and said, "No, I need to go back the way I came." Then he just turned and walked back into the woods. No flashlight, no phone, just vanished into the dark tree line. I waited for a few minutes, but he didn't come back. Eventually I called park security and told them what happened. They did a sweep of the area, never found him. No one matching his description was reported missing. Nothing in the logs, no jacket, no hat, just gone. A few nights later, I walked the same route. Out of curiosity, I checked the bench where he said he left his Walkman, and there it was, a dusty, scuffed up Sony Walkman. Tape still inside, labeled Summer Mix 83. I turned it over. Someone had scratched a name into the back, T. Granger. I left it there. I still walk the same trail, but I don't go near that bench anymore. And every once in a while, just before 9:30, I swear I see someone standing by the shelter, wearing a red Braves cap, just waiting.